But as we draw closer to ending this conversation, there's that responsibility of the pastor on his conduct. How can we also speak to the membership or those that, what we sometimes say, leading the leader? How can they help bring the conduct of the pastor to accountability?
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, it is very critical that we remember what Paul again said in the scriptures. That whatever you do,
Yes.
in word or in deed,
Yes.
do it all
Yes.
for the glory of God. And the word all there needs to be circulated.
Yes.
So that every time the member is thinking of saying something to the pastor or doing something to the pastor or with the pastor,
Yes.
they ask themselves, will this glorify God? And I believe that is where it has to begin.
Yes.
Because if whatever I do, I'm doing it for the glory of God, then it is going to be right. It is going to be appropriate.
Yeah.
It is going to be acceptable. It is going to be fruitful and meaningful.
Yes.
And so I would begin, that is where it has to begin. I believe also then we need to be able to understand the person we are dealing with.
Yes.
If you're dealing with the pastor, once again, he's a spiritual man,
Yes.
but he's also a physical man, whether a woman, man or woman. They're spiritual, but they're also physical.
Yes.
And to be able to address them in light of that knowledge,
Yes.
and to know in the spiritual with this help, in the physical will this help.
Yes.
There are sometimes when you stand to greet people and a sister may come and hug you.
Yes.
And you've got to ask yourself as a sister, will this hug be too long or just be a ministry hug? Thank you for that ministry.
Yes.
I really believe as much as we're spiritual, we must also use our mind.
Yes.
We must use reason. We must double up, being spiritual and being reasonable.
Yes.
But the foundation is all for the glory of God.
Wow, thank you. And where is the place for surrounding a leader, a pastor, surrounding themselves with people who can call them out? Because also we live in a generation where pastors don't want to be called out, as you're saying, all to the glory of God. But how can you speak into that? How can a pastor create a space where they have people around them who they listen to, who they're accountable to, who can call them out? They love them, but they can also rebuke them and help them to continue to have the right conduct as leaders.
That issue is definitely a critical issue. Some pastors find themselves in a challenging situation. The members that you have in the church, you brought them to Christ through your preaching, so they feel like, what can we say to you?
Yes.
So some pastors find themselves in a very challenging situation. But the pastor himself needs to realize that as much as he's spiritual and the leader, he doesn't have it all.
Yes.
And he cannot be totally all together all by himself. So that then the pastor may begin to realize the need to have someone else. And so the pastor has the freedom to look within his congregation and find brethren that he says, these ones I can trust with my life, with my stories, with my challenges, with my dreams. Or to look beyond, his congregation to other pastors within the community, within the nation, or beyond. Today, the world is right there at your cell phone. I sit in my room and I Zoom with pastors all over the world, and we talk about everything. And so the pastor can only get there when he has this realization that he needs others. He cannot be totally whole on his own. He needs the input of others in refining him, in correcting him, in rebuking him, but also in advising him. And I believe any pastor who is keen about going the distance in ministry will want to commit themselves to a relationship like that. Well, you've got other pastors. I have pastors in this city that if I'm traveling out of the country, I cannot travel unless I speak to them. I am going, would you cover me as I go, because I have no idea what I'm going to. I have pastors outside of this city that we fellowship on Zoom and we talk. I have pastors that at least once a year I have to sit with and we just talk. What has life been like? I have pastors that we talk about our family lives. So how about your spouse? How about your children? What is happening with this one? And so the pastor needs to be able to realize the various components of his life and be able to know that there are people that I can talk to on this various aspect of my life. So it may not be just one group. You could be having 3-4 different pastors that are very close to you, and you are able to relate a different aspect of your life and ministry.
Wow. Pastor, that is so deep. Just being able to create these many circles of different layers of people who help you walk.
Exactly.
And you can refer to them, they can pray for you, they can cover you. And I think that is an important part. And so as we come to the close of this conversation that we've had, I think some of the takeouts I take off that number one is the leader must lead themselves. Self-leadership is critical in the way they do. But that self-leadership is informed by the call they have on their lives and the recognizing and realizing that they don't belong to themselves, and they belong to God. Like Paul says, they first gave themselves to the Lord, and then to others. Then the third thing, the fourth thing I'm hearing you say is about accountability. Being able to be accountable to others and being able to be vulnerable to others. A space of people, a number of people who can also be like rail guards into their on work. And as I finally see it, what you have said in a nutshell is you're saying character matters for the pastor. And they cannot do without character. And I think it's an important part of ministry, and if a pastor has to be able to lead well, character becomes the greatest component. And so thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you.
Thank you
and
so
God
much.
Bless you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this session, and we hope that it's been really a help to you. Look out for the next series, and we continue with these conversations. We hope that you can be able to join in. Call a friend and send it to another friend. You know, the Apostle Paul talks to Timothy and says that whatever you heard from me and seen in me, tell it to others, he says, and teach other faithful men. And so I hope that this will be your responsibility to share with others, that others may also benefit as you have benefit. God bless you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.